Welcome to the DLB radio show. Thank you for joining us, DJ Mercy and DJ Rami, for another fantastic Divine Love Bliss radio show. It is February 11th, 2017 from the USA Eastern Coast. And for those in the Philippines or on the other side of the world, it's February 12th, 2017. The topic tonight or today is divine, masculine, and feminine love and balance. But above all, that I enjoy most is to be in balance or be in love 24/7. What an awesome topic. Take it over, DJ Rami.
Event, it's celebrated for 3 days, February 13, 14, and 15.
Wow.
14 are for, I'm serious, I mean, it's traffic all over. Restaurants are fully booked. 14 is for the official love, and 13 is for the mistress number 1, and 15 is for mistress number 2. That's how romantic. That's how romantic Filipinos are.
Because they have love to spare. They need to share it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Mercy, our topic for the day is on divine masculine and feminine. So I'm going to ask you a set of questions, and I'm going to try to answer the questions as well. Well, my first question for you is, what is divine masculine and feminine?
Wow. Well, you know, it took me a while to really get in touch to that, because we always look towards the outside, we looked through the mind, and then it is when you hit your heart that you feel that divinity within you, and you start feeling this God essence of love. And for me, when I touch my divine feminine, I'm feeling that Shekinah, I'm feeling that the ability to feel the embrace of the mother. And when I am tuning into my divine masculine, I can feel the essence of God in his masculine side, in that compassion, that suave Romeo, we can say. What about you, Rami?
Oh, divine masculine is the mind of God, and the divine feminine is the heart of God. So everyone should try this exercise at least once. Ask God the following: God, show me what is in your heart. What do you really want? The next question is, God, show me how your mind works. I want to know how you think and strategize to get what you want. So to answer that question, to answer what is divine masculine and feminine, I had to ask God. Here I am again in my laboratory. So when a woman wants something, a man finds ways. When the heart wants something, the mind finds ways. So do the exercise during your free time, but in the meantime, let me share my answers with you from my laboratory. Love is the simple and brilliant answer to God, to what is in God's heart. God wants to love, experience love, generate love, fill the universe with love. It is safe to say God is crazy with love. That's the divine feminine. God's mind is what really turned me on. So like his heart, his mind is simple and brilliant. Divine plan number 10 is the answer to how does God think and strategize to get what he wants. So let me tell you about divine plan number 10. His plan to get what he wants. So visually, number 10 represents the masculine and the feminine. 1 is masculine, and 0, like a mouth, is feminine. So in the beginning, God was undifferentiated, filled the entire universe, and then he inhaled, sucked his tummy to create a hole or empty space, and then impregnated that space. So one undifferentiated God gave rise to 2 distinct modes of operation or expression: the masculine and the feminine. So the masculine, like the number 1, is a hard rod that wants to fill a hole. The feminine, like a 0, wants that rod to enter her hole. So try as they might, they cannot separate because they both want the same thing. One will ache without the other. Now, the union of the masculine and feminine is what generates love and gives rise to a child or a third outcome. And in other words, God was able to devise a way to generate and to share love, exactly what his heart wanted. And that is how simple and brilliant the mind of God is. And one thing to remember, masculine gives, feminine takes or receive. Just that one thing to remember. Imagine you are the center of everything when you project something that is masculine. When you retract something, that is feminine. When you leave to go to work, that is masculine. Coming home is feminine. When you walk, the simple act of walking, your leg moving forward is masculine. The body moving towards the leg is feminine. Then out goes the other leg, which is another masculine, and so on. So even a pendulum is a very interesting thing to study. When the weight of a pendulum moves away from the center, whether left or right, that is masculine. The part when it returns to the center is feminine. So from the moon and sun, going to work, the act of walking, we see the divine masculine and divine feminine modes of operation, intelligences, or expressions. So I have another question for you, Mercy. Divine masculine and feminine are opposites. As God, can you state the relevance of having opposites? Why did you, as God, think of creating opposites?
I would have to say that I created opposites to make the opportunity to see myself. The opposite becomes my mirror. My opposite gives me the challenges and the drama, because if not, this world would be very boring. It gives me also the knowing of choices. It gives me such more varieties of zest for exploration. And so to me, opposites is a great gift that God has given all of us with this opportunity of the split. What about you, Rami?
You know, I think you and me are one because we have the same answer.
Guys, we did not share our answers, by the way.
As God, I thought of creating opposites to generate love, experience love, and fill the universe with love. That's why we have opposites. So, Mercy, how can we apply the knowledge of divine masculine and divine feminine in our daily lives? Can you cite one example?
Well, you know, lately, right now, I'm doing a little bit of a work with my feminine, because my tendency is to use a lot of my masculine, my mercy and compassion, my looking at everything in a whole and rushing. And so lately I've been having a exercise of mindfulness, of moving with purpose, thinking before I am speaking, or when I am answering an email at work or on my personal life. I'm taking some time now to it's almost like a dance. It's really been an interesting journey. It becomes almost like a slow dance of taking my breath and really reading what I'm writing and why I'm writing it. And so it's been a challenge, by the way. It's not that easy, because for someone that has always been rushing, trying to do things haphazard, like masculines love to do, and more in the mercy and allowing, it's a little bit harder to sometimes slow down and think or be mindful. But those are right now two of the things that I've been doing in reference to my awareness of my masculine and feminine. What about you, Rami?
So you mean to tell me you are exercising mindful awareness in treating life as a dance. Is that correct? Like a dance.
Yes.
Oh, wow. You're such a romantic. You know, when I want something, I set my eyes on the goal, and then I keep on checking my energy. Yeah. So it's the same, mindful awareness. You know. So am I trying to get to my goal with brute force or like a man courting a woman? So there's a difference. Yeah. So brute force, honestly, hardly appeals to the feminine. That's an example of applying the masculine. On the other hand, when I offer my services, let's say astrology classes or readings, I think like a girl. Is the image I am creating cheap and worthless? Is my energy cheap? I always check and adjust my energy. People should read my energy as worthy, not cheap. Think worthy, feel worthy. Erecting good boundaries can help increase the worth of my service. For example, to maintain the perceived worth of my service, of course, I have to do good in creating an image, but I am very particular about punctuality when people set appointments with me. You know. So, and that is one of the ways that I exercise the feminine and set proper boundaries to maintain the perceived worth of my service. Now, when faced with an issue, I identify the two polarities, masculine, feminine. Any issue, I always look, what's the masculine side, what's the feminine side? For example, someone is greedy and I am generous. That's a situation. I throw the questions around, beginning with greedy. When is greedy good? When is generous not good? How can I use greed to balance my generosity? Energy-wise, how does the union of greed and generosity feel like? You know? The objective is to arrive at a balanced expression and to get the two talking to one another. I think that's one factor that lovers do. Those who have been in love for a long time with the same partner, they have very good communication. Mercy, how can we apply the knowledge of divine masculine and feminine specifically in our romantic relationships? Can you cite one example?
Oh boy. I'm going to have to say I'm still in the lab experimenting. 34 years, it's going to be 34 years of marriage. And I have to say and confess that most of the time has been unconscious working. And it's been lately the most conscious time in my life. But what I have discovered is a few years back when I started working with discovering my feminine and my masculine divinity and working with unifying those two and dancing, for them to dance together. Interestingly, is when I saw the shift occurring in my relationship. My husband and I have always had a tremendous bond and a wonderful, loving relationship. But it had a different quality and essence when I started to do my own dance within, meaning when I started to really connect to my divine mercy and severity, or my masculine and feminine, when I started to see them dancing together, all of a sudden my husband was softer. And there was a quality of shift that is hard to describe because he's not too expressive. But when he expresses his love is by little simple listening to me. Maybe he knows that I like a series, for example, Castle, that is no longer in TV, and he would just mail me the series when it was out, just because, not because there was any special birthday or anything. And those little notes like that became more and more increased. And even the support, I felt that embrace of him even at a greater depth, is what I would say. That's what I have noticed in my relationship. What about you, Rami?
It's interesting the way you bring up dancing. So it means that it doesn't have to be dancing, but anything that requires a couple, a male and a female, to do, and then to be able to relate to that and make use of it. I will answer the question by citing one thing people should not do. So I'll take the side of the feminine and do a not do. There is one line that has led to many heartaches. If anyone ever tells you, you complete me, do not be Jerry Maguire's Dorothy and say, oh, just shut up, you had me at hello. So you run away as fast as you can, or stay and learn the dynamics of a relationship, see, just like Mercy, so your heart does not break into 1,000 pieces. You know? The problem with you complete me, as we all know, is dependency. But I would rather complete myself and attract someone who practices the same thing, you know, than depend on someone I really cannot depend on. I mean, face it, we really can't depend on others. So we all have we can't depend on others to fulfill our needs. We have to do it ourselves. So let me just qualify that. We all have a masculine and a feminine side, and if ever we want to attract the right partner and stay in a fulfilling relationship, the key is to be aware of the masculine and the feminine in us. I mean, that's we always have to go back to going inside. Mercy, how can divine masculine and feminine in me dance together like a couple? Can you give tips? I mean, we're talking about dancing, but small tips. I'll give one example, and then good communication is at the top of my list. I listen to the masculine and the feminine in me and allow them to talk to one another and thresh out issues. Did I give too much or too little? Was I able to receive? Did I take too much, or did I shut down and reject? Was I too brute? Was I like an old librarian? So what's your tip, Mercy, to dancing?
Wow, to dance. Well, I do like music, so I have to say that I usually can see what's going on when I am putting music, because unconsciously I will select certain music to the dance, right? So we're having some real unification. My music that I want to hear is that music that pulls my body together and wants to move and wants to be of one. And so from there I can notice where I've been. But I sincerely have to say that I have to sometimes put mind to it. If not, I forget. I can go very unconscious. And it is when I see the unconsciousness coming back, right, the mirror coming back, that I realize, oops, I went too strong. I can now feel when my energy of my masculine is too strong, or my feminine, and at least I can correct sooner than later. But for a long time, it was hard for me to identify the corruptions, I would say, that I was doing to myself, and thus not really dancing together. And then, of course, you know, like I said, if you put music and I am hearing music, I sometimes put Pandora. I will do some. I like English, but I do like some Spanish, and I can feel my body moving in unison. They want to really dance with a partner. I know I'm doing a better job than when I don't want to even hear music. When I don't want to hear music, Mercy's having some issues with his the couple inside. What about you, Rami?
That is so interesting. So when you don't want to hear music, there's something going on. That's your cue, huh? That's interesting. I think now that we've been talking about dancing, everyone should go out and dance with somebody. And if you're intimate with that person, go blindfold each other. So a lot of lessons that can be learned, like no stepping on toes, don't pull me too much, or you're going to swing me, and I'm going to hit the floor. How can divine masculine and feminine in me dance with the divine masculine and feminine of another? Is it like a foursome dance?
Oh, no. We could not dance intimately if we would not be, if we don't have union. You know what happens, I have noticed, is that normally, if I am not, which, by the way, I have to make a side note, this was me early when I was younger. I had a lot of walls, a lot of issues with intimacy. So my first boyfriend was a dancer, and I was terrible at dancing because I did not allow my body to move. I didn't have the flexibility. I didn't want, it felt like I would be an embarrassment to show your body and that sexiness or that sensual part of you. So I had all these restrictions. It took me a while, and especially lately when I started to work with my divine feminine and masculine within, that they started to dance. And when they started to dance is when I realized that it was my body that needed to also be released and not be so closed to intimacy. And that is why our actors who have a good chemistry can really give you a wonderful performance, because they really, if you look at them, they don't have an issue with intimacy. They can dance with anyone. They can go as close as with anyone and dance that performance, which makes it so real. So for me, it's been not that, like I said, it's been recent. It's just been a few years since I started to really allow my body to move, do crazy things, as those who have been in company with me. And when I start dancing, sometimes I do look like a crazy kung fu personnel here. But I do it intentionally so that I can practice that liberation of my body, and I'm conscious of being okay with intimacy, which is necessary. What about you, Ram?
Hey, I like that video. One day I'm going to sell it in the black market.
Oh my God.
As a rule of thumb, for me, when a person is cold, be warm. When the person is hot, be cool. It's very basic.
Working with the opposites.
My best advice is to be more proficient in sensing energy. Mercy, can you identify a song and the artist that best captures the essence of divine masculine?
Oh, dear Lord, I have a list.
And the reason
because I have it in Spanish and English, you know.
Okay. The reason I ask is because I really suggest that people go and listen to Love Music, put together a playlist. So what are the songs that you recommend?
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to give you a little interesting anecdote. Bert and I were in a wedding a few weeks ago, and they were wanting us to dance. And my husband was very Capricorn and was constantly looking at his phone, and I didn't know what he was doing. So I was about getting upset when I realized that he was going through a playlist. And what he really was waiting for selecting and making sure that we would dance to a song that he knows that I love. So after I realized that that's what he was doing, then I softened and waited patiently for him to come up with a song he wanted us to dance to, which is Enrique Iglesias. And it's in Spanish, and it really moves my body, and he knows that I love it, and so we enjoy that dance together. I also love any type of love story that is being sung, be it masculine or feminine, that's giving me a story, that is bringing me not only into the music, but it's also bringing me into a story. I love those romantic music. They're beyond time and space, and so even the classics are maybe even greater for me than some of the modern ones. What about you, Rami?
What's the one song or artist that you recommend for the masculine?
For the masculine, well, for the masculine to hear would be a female voice, right?
For the masculine, a song that represents the divine masculine.
Oh, a song that represents the divine.
A song that's very direct and bombastic. And
well,
bold.
you know, Andrea Bocelli is one of those that melts ladies' heart.
Oh, that's very good. My choice
in Spanish is Luis Miguel, by the way.
Oh, well, my choice is Macho Man by Village People. And for Filipino speakers, it's Katawan by Hagibis. Go and listen to those two songs if you want to know what the masculine is all about. Mercy, can you identify a song and artist that best captures the essence of divine feminine?
Oh, I love Celine Dion. I always do the wrong name for her.
Any song of Celine or all of her songs, based how she sings?
You know, she has several of them. Falling into Him is a beautiful song. And
wow.
So she has some beautiful. Falling into Him, guys, go and look at it. The lyrics are gorgeous, and I use in the Alchemy of Love. When I do Alchemy of Love, I use dance to have that feeling inside of you. And of course, you know, my Tina Turner. Tina is one of the. You're the best.
My song, all-time favorite for Divine Feminine, is "Loving You" by Minnie Riperton. Watch the live version on YouTube and pay attention to the lyrics and how Minnie Riperton effortlessly closes her eyes, opens her mouth, and heaven comes out. That's very feminine. How do you stay in love 24/7, Mercy?
Well, that's not an easy one, is it?
Yeah, I mean, love even without Capricorn birth around. Just how do you stay in love?
Well, I'm just saying that it's not easy because we get into our minds and we get into the traffic noise around us. Mm-hmm. And so it's sometimes we forget that we are in love because of the busyness around us, right?
But when you're mindful about it, what do you do to get back to love?
I have to say, I go back to music.
Well, for me, the way I stay in love 24/7 is by really loving everything about me. I used to separate, my ugly parts, the parts that people wouldn't agree with. Now it's become my habit to keep on calling and embracing and talking to my ugly parts, and that's how I keep myself in love 24/7.
You see, when I dance, I just think that I'm Beyonce. When I'm listening to the music, I'm thinking I'm Tina. And so I am loving my body at that moment. I'm loving every expression of my voice that does not have a good voice as it is. So to me, music transforms me. It really puts me in touch with divinity within me.
I love Beyonce. And I think one of the first MTVs I've ever seen in my life was the one of Tina Turner's, a Tina Turner video. How can I attract a romantic partner? This is the last question, Mercy, and then we're going to open the floor to the listeners. How can I attract a romantic partner? What's your best advice?
Well, be romantic yourself. You know, likes attract like. So if you're looking for romance, Edgar Cayce would tell you, be romantic to yourself first. Be intimate with romance. Be open to romance. Express romance. So it's really the embodiment of romance that attracts your romantic partner.
I think we have the same answer. Be complete instead of relying on others to complete me. For example, those in the dating scene right now, unconsciously, they want to be admired. So be complete by admiring yourself for 10 days. And then see, what turns up. Get into the shoes of that which you want to attract. That's the second. If you want to attract men, get into the shoes of men. Be gay for a month. See things through their eyes. Find out what they want in women. So likewise, if you're feminine, get into the shoes. That's my best advice. So let's open the floor, Mercy, to...
Let's open up.
Yeah, listeners, you can type your answers, or if you would like to speak up, just type that you want your mic to be unmuted.
And come on, you must have plenty of questions about love. Don't be shy. If not, Rami's going to give you some questions. Boy,
No questions? Anything about love? Anything about feminine, masculine? Explains, or you can ask Mercy to explain a bit more about her romance.
I'm going to give you the story. No questions yet? Thank you. Lovely chat. Well, thank you, Julie. I'm going to give you, preparing for this talk, I started to feel this energy that I couldn't identify. And it took me a whole week, by the way, guys, so it's not as easy sometimes. I noticed that in the mornings when I would wake up, I was already dreaming or wishing or seeing the evening as an enticing, romantic. There was something about the evenings. And then in the evenings, I was already thinking of what I was wanting to do the next day with joy and really wanting to be already active in the day. And I was thinking, what the heck, what is this going on? When I'm in the evening, I'm looking at what to do, and I really don't want to go to sleep. But yet, when I'm in the morning, I really want to have the evening come in so that I can enjoy like this, the romantic space of going to sleep. And so it was baffling. It took me the whole week, because it was today that I took a day to just look and work with myself. And all of a sudden it dawned on me. What was going on was the romance of my feminine and my masculine inside of me. It was the moon and the sun that was romancing each other. And thus, the sun was wanting to be with the moon. And when I was in the daytime, I just wanted to be in the nighttime. And when I was in the nighttime, the moon was romancing the sun. And so I wanted to be already in the sunlight. So that's as crazy as I have had this week, and this romance that I couldn't understand until today. How about you, Rami?
You sound lovesick, Mercy. Andrea has a question. If masculine and feminine are balanced, will the inner child be able to express well, in our life? Would you like to answer that, Mercy?
Well, you would say that if we have a feminine and a masculine that is in balance and connected to divinity and working together in union, because I want to make sure that we don't construed balance. We're talking balance from union. And if they're in union, meaning that they are adults, they're connected with divinity, then the inner child will be feeling safe and will express very well. It will be joyful. It would be a child that knows that the parents are observing, holding the safety space for that child, and yet not blocking that child from exploring and being adventurous. So that's what I have seen. What about you, Rami?
I totally agree with that. By next week, we'll be posting the next topic for the pre-taped Divine Love Bliss radio show, and I'll be inviting everyone to send in their questions for the next topic. Let us know also what topics you would like us to cover in future Divine Love Bliss radio shows. Other questions? By the way, Mercy, recently I unearthed the work by Byron Katie because I was looking for an app, a phone or gadget app for inner work, and I was very surprised because the work app of Byron Katie has very good interface. It even has a journal. I read her resources about maybe 6 years ago, and then I did it a couple of rounds, and then forgot about it, went on to discover other things. And now that I'm reuniting with Byron Katie's the work, I really find it very easy to use, to do. It's very fun. And so I'm committed to doing 1 round per day. So I'll see what happens after 30 days.
Yeah, I have to tell you all that Rami invited me to check it out, and I downloaded into my iPhone it's called the Work app by Byron Katie, and it's interesting because I had seen her video and her concept of the work several years back. So I did try the app to see how it would work, and it really helped me. I just used 2 little things on belief and situation, and it really brought me some new insights to a part of me that I had not seen. And so I would recommend for you all to try it out. It is an app that you have to buy, but it's so minimum for 99 cents to have such a resource with you.
The Apple version is free. I was able to download it for free.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the Android has a price to it. Andrea has one more question. If one is having a hard time to balance or to unify the masculine and the feminine, what do you suggest? I suggest really getting to know what the masculine is and what the feminine is. So to be more familiar with how to achieve a certain kind of balance. And achieving balance is, I know I have achieved balance when I am at peace and no one is arguing in me and everyone has been heard. And that for me is achieving balance.
I also, what I'm going to add is there is a process, and every process has time and space, meaning if we come into any of this unification dances of balancing with an agenda of time, of like a general coming in to command the troops, then we are going to have to realize that it's going to take you even longer, because these 2 energies within us are about romance. And you know that romance is about timing, it's about feeling and understanding each other. So it's not quite a mind where you can just program and set your goals and just accomplish them as, you know, like a general with their soldiers.
I think taking up yoga is very good because I took up yoga because I have been studying about balance, but my physical body didn't know a thing about balance, and that's the reason why I got a private trainer, took up yoga for 4 months, enough for me to qualify for teacher trainer, but it was really to understand what balance meant. And someone with very good poise is actually a very balanced, so the person knows how to maintain balance. Priscilla says she loves Byron Katie. Well, now you all know that I do as well. So it's 9:45, Mercy, and we're about to close our show. Any last words?
Any last questions?
We're going to post this recording on the different sites that we belong to. Yes, martial arts is a great way to discover balance.
Yeah, balance is in many forms, just not mind and spirit. It's into the body, right? Because we're talking about spirit, mind, and body. And unification is also the same thing. It's not just opposites, but it's also the elements. It's also the physical mind and body being one. So it's that loving 24/7 takes time. But for lilies, I have to say, you may find yourself shifting faster than if you were not a lily. But you still have, everyone has that opportunity to just dance. Dance inside of you. Dance with love, with admiration, with compassion and mercy.
Priscilla says Taekwondo, great in discovering balance. I would say Aikido. I'm sure many of you are martial arts practitioners out there. So martial arts is a good thing. Unless you have other questions, if you have questions when we post the recording, you can post your comments on your question on the comments thread, or send Mercy and I a private message.
And you know, I have a last just popped in my mind. A lot of times when we start looking for romance, or we have our partners already, one of the greatest issues that I've seen is when we are projecting to our partners, or we are expecting them to perform a certain way. And we're really infringing in their free will. We're imposing our will. And so it usually doesn't work out, guys. It's really like Rami said, if you really want to know how your partner functions, what he or she is expecting out of a relationship, get in their shoes and start looking at how best to dance with that new view of your partner. That is what really happened when I started to unify within me and started to see my husband in another light. Again, we have always had a great relationship, but it became deeper and stronger because of that. I was not anymore challenging him. I was not looking at him to be someone else. Rami?
You should do a love class soon, Mercy. Well, I'm going to close with the sign prayer of the chosen people of God. And then after the prayer,
I'm going to be turning off, and I'll be right back.
Okay. So after the prayer, I'm going to keep the the conference room open for another 5 minutes in case anyone has any questions. Okay? Close your eyes, everybody. Just close your eyes. Inhale. And exhale. So one more time. Inhale. And exhale. In the beginning was the light, and the light overpowered the darkness. In the beginning was the light, and the light overpowered the darkness. In the beginning was the light, and the light overpowered the darkness. And the light has chosen us. The hand of God delivered His chosen people to the promised land. Remind us, O Lord, of our covenant with You, for our hearts are crying out, Holy, holy, holy Lord God, Alpha and Omega. Make Your chosen people one. Shield us from our enemies with the might and strength of the armies of angels of the heavenly hosts. Deliver us to the promised land. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and may you all be blessed with divine love, peace, and joy. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our radio show.